Welcome to more tales. Am I the a-hole for cutting off my best friend after she kissed my boyfriend? For some context, my best friend, I'll call her L, was recently cheated on by her long-term boyfriend. They had been living together, but since the lease was under her ex's name, she's the one who moved out. She asked if she could stay at my place while she figured things out. I live alone, and I'm rarely home because I spend most of the week at my boyfriend's place, so I told her she was welcome to stay. I WFH 3 days a week and go into the office on Thursdays and Fridays. Since my boyfriend lives almost 2 hours from my work, I usually stay at my own place the night before my office days to make the commute easier. During those nights, I'd spend time with Elle and check in on how she was doing. We would sit on the couch with takeout, and she would cry for hours about how betrayed she felt by her ex, asking how anyone could do that to someone they claimed to love. I held her hand and listened, trying my absolute best to pull her out of that dark hole. One day, she told me she was getting lonely staying there by herself and asked if I could spend the weekend with her. I really wanted to support her, but I also wanted to spend time with my boyfriend. So I suggested she come stay with us for the weekend instead. I asked my boyfriend first, and he had no problem with it. He even went out of his way to buy extra groceries and clear out closet space so she would feel completely comfortable. When Elle arrived, the energy seemed okay. We were hanging out, trying to keep things light. At one point, she was walking around in her long, oversized shirt, practically necky underneath, just trying to feel relaxed in a home environment. The three of us were relaxing at my boyfriend's house, binge-watching a TV show. I suddenly craved bubble tea and asked if they wanted to come with me. The shop was only a few minutes away. They were both comfortable on the couch and said they didn't feel like going out. My boyfriend suggested I just order delivery, but I wanted an excuse to get outside and enjoy the sunshine, so I went by myself. I was gone for maybe 30 minutes. When I got back, my boyfriend was standing in the kitchen making coffee while still watching the show from there. I was nowhere to be seen. The house felt eerily quiet, with a strange, heavy tension lingering in the air. I asked where she was and jokingly asked why he was making coffee when I had just brought back bubble tea. He looked up, his face pale and completely devoid of color. As I reached for my phone to call her down, he stopped me and said, "Before you do, I need to tell you something." My heart instantly sank into my stomach. He explained that while I was gone, I'll notice something on his shoulder, dust or lint, and brushed it off. He didn't think anything of it because it seemed harmless. Then, without warning, she leaned in and kissed him on the cheek, close enough that it was almost on his lips. He immediately pulled away and gently pushed her back, completely caught off guard. He said he didn't even know why, but he walked into the kitchen and started making coffee even though he didn't actually want one. I think he was just trying to process what had happened. According to him, Elle immediately apologized and said she didn't know what had come over her before going upstairs. It felt like someone had pulled the floor out from under me. I couldn't even think of a response. I trust my boyfriend completely. In all our times together, including our private moments doing the horizontal tango, he's never given me a single reason to question his loyalty or honesty, so I never questioned what he was telling me. I was devastated, not because of him, but because of my best friend. I honestly never imagined she would do something like this. Oddly enough, I wasn't even angry at first. I was just confused. Why would she do something like this? After what had happened to her? I told my boyfriend I was going upstairs to check on Elle. He asked me to go easy on her because she was already in a terrible emotional state after everything she'd been through. I knocked on the guest room door and tried to sound cheerful. Bubble tea delivery for my best friend. Instead of answering, I heard sobbing. When I walked in, she was sitting on the bed crying. She looked completely broken. Seeing her like that made it hard to stay angry. I still couldn't stop thinking about what she'd done, but I also couldn't ignore how devastated she looked. I decided not to confront her immediately. Instead, I comforted her. I told her everything would be okay and that her ex didn't deserve her. She cried even harder. After a few moments, she admitted everything. Without me saying a single word, she confessed exactly what my boyfriend had already told me. She said she didn't know what came over her. She wasn't thinking clearly. For a moment, she wasn't seeing my boyfriend as my boyfriend. In her words, she saw someone else and acted on impulse before reality hit her. I still don't fully understand what she meant by that. She said she immediately realized what she'd done after my boyfriend pushed her away, and she was deeply ashamed and embarrassed. She kept apologizing over and over, wiping tears from her swollen eyes. My closest friend group consists of just 4 women, including Elle. I don't want to tell the other 2 yet because I don't want to damage Elle's reputation if this is something we can work through privately. So I'm looking for outside perspectives. One last detail. Later that night, I remembered our living room camera. I sat alone on the couch in the dark while my boyfriend was in the bathroom. Even though I fully believed my boyfriend, I still watched the footage to see exactly what happened. His story checks out. Now I'm wondering, if I trusted him completely, why did I still feel the need to check the footage? Does that mean I subconsciously doubted him, or was I just trying to process something that felt impossible to believe? I'm grieving the loss of trust in a 20-year friendship. Is this something you could ever forgive, or is this friendship over? Update. First of all, thank you. I genuinely appreciate all the advice you gave me. Some of you were absolutely ruthless at all. But honestly, I think this naive heart of mine needed it. A lot of your comments gave me clarity, especially the ones about the camera and boundaries. They helped me see the situation more objectively and gave me the courage to make the decisions I needed to make. After my conversation with Elle that Saturday morning, I went back downstairs to check on my boyfriend. He told me he was okay, and at the time I accepted that answer. Looking back, I also want to thank everyone who reminded me to really check on him and not just assume he was fine. In everything that happened, I unintentionally overlooked the fact that he had gone through something upsetting too. I think I was so focused on Elle and the shock of finding out what she had done that I didn't fully process what the situation must have been like from his side. He had been sitting there with my best friend, someone he knew because of me, and suddenly had to deal with her kissing him. He handled it exactly the way I would have wanted him to, but that doesn't mean it was comfortable or easy for him. We did talk about it more later, and I made sure he knew that I understood that. That afternoon, I drove Elle back to my place. I wasn't about to let her commute while she was in such an emotional state. The drive was almost completely silent. She didn't start any conversations, and I didn't know what there was left to say at that point. At one point, I asked her what she thought would have happened if my boyfriend hadn't pushed her away. She quietly said she didn't know. Then she told me she hated that she'd put herself in that position and that she was sorry for causing all of this. That was the only real conversation we had. When we arrived at my place, I stopped the car before she got out and told her she needed to find somewhere else to stay. I told her that when I came back on Wednesday night, I would be needing the space. She simply nodded. I didn't argue with her or ask her to explain herself again. I think we'd both said enough for one day. As she walked toward the house, she turned around and looked back at me. That moment broke my heart because I couldn't help thinking it might be the last time I'd ever see my best friend. I started tearing up, but I drove away before my emotions convinced me to take it all back. Monday night, one of our friends noticed something was off and messaged our group chat to check on Elle. It probably wasn't surprising. Elle and I are usually the ones constantly blowing up the chat, and it had been unusually quiet since Saturday. After a little small talk, I was just lurking. Elle confessed everything. She told them exactly what she'd told me. Friend 1 immediately left the group chat without saying a word. Then she called me. I think she was just as shocked as I was, especially because she had known both of us for so long. There wasn't really anything either of us could say that would make the situation less awful. Friend 2 stayed. She tried to mediate and later messaged me privately. She said she's sorry for everything that had happened and said she needed to stay with Elle because Friend 1 had already made her position clear. I told Friend 2 that I thought staying with Elle was the right thing to do. I also asked her to keep an eye on Elle and encourage her to seek professional help. She promised she'd try her best to make it happen. Fast forward to today. Elle and I still haven't spoken since that day, but Friend 2 has occasionally updated me. According to her, Elle has started seeing a therapist and has been in much better spirits lately. Friend 2 let her stay with her the day after she confessed everything. Elle has since found her own place and moved in yesterday. I'm glad she's somewhere stable now. I don't want anything bad to happen to her, and despite everything, I still care about her. At the same time, I don't think caring about someone means I have to put myself back into the friendship before I'm ready. Friend 1 still isn't speaking to Elle. She told me she won't consider reconciling with Elle until I've forgiven her, not because she wants to pressure me, but because she feels she can't move past what happened while I'm still hurting from it. Honestly though, that isn't what weighs on me. Whether Friend 1 forgives Elle is between them. What weighs on me is losing someone who had been my best friend for years. I miss her every day. But one piece of advice that really stuck with me was to pause the friendship instead of making permanent decisions while emotions are still fresh. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving us both time. As for my boyfriend and me, we're doing okay. We've had a lot of honest conversations since everything happened, and I apologized for not fully realizing how much the situation affected him in the moment. He's been more understanding than I probably deserve, and I'm grateful every day that he chose to face this with me instead of letting it drive us apart. Since Elle seems to be doing much better now, I'm also going to stop asking Friend 2 for updates. I think continuing to check on her from a distance isn't helping either of us move forward. She has somewhere to live, she's getting professional help, and she has people around her. At this point, I think it's healthier for me to let that situation exist without constantly monitoring it. I know some people will probably be disappointed that I haven't ended the friendship completely. I understand why you think I should end it. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm simply not ready to make that decision. For now, I'll continue with no contact for weeks, months, maybe even a year. I don't know what the future looks like yet, and I don't think I need to decide today. If after enough time has passed, I feel ready to revisit the friendship, then I'll make that decision with a clearer head. If I don't, then I'll accept that too. If there's one thing this experience taught me, it's that people can make terrible decisions without being terrible people. That doesn't make those decisions okay, and it doesn't mean there shouldn't be consequences. At the same time, loving someone doesn't mean protecting them from the consequences of what they've done. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do, for them and for yourself, is to step away. I also learned that good intentions don't replace healthy boundaries. I kept thinking that because I trusted both of them, everything would be fine. I know now that trust doesn't mean assuming everything will be fine. It also means having boundaries that protect the relationships and people you care about. As one commenter pointed out, I could have avoided putting everyone in that situation by simply spending that weekend at my place with Elle instead of bringing her to my boyfriend's house. That was a poor judgment call, and I can't change that decision now, but I can learn from it. Again, thank you to everyone who took the time to offer thoughtful, honest, and sometimes brutally truthful advice. It genuinely helped me more than you know. I hope none of you ever have to experience something like this. And for those who have been through similar heartbreak, I truly hope you found or will find the peace and healing you deserve. Thank you for visiting More Tales.